Now I want to talk about editing. If you've seen all of Michael Bay's films, you know what to expect in terms of editing, because the movie is a very long movie, but it's cut in a way that it moves along really quickly. In fact, the editing, in a word, I'd have to say it's kind of choppy. It's done in a very music video style, because Michael Bay, he comes from a music video background. So you'd have a lot of jump cuts. Even in action, the continuity of the action somewhat it's not hard to follow in terms of scope, but it's hard to follow in terms of continuity. Like, for example, a robot would be over here, but then in the next angle, he would be in another part. I don't know, it's just something I picked up when watching it in the next viewings. And also in the human scenes, the editing is just moving really, really fast. There are no long drawn out sequences of exposition or drama. It's just scene after scene after scene to get the story going along. So after they're in one scene, then you're in another setting. They don't spend too much time in certain locations, just because a lot has to happen in this movie, and they're trying to get it going on as fast as possible. That's why you'll feel that, well, this movie is really moving at a quick pace, which brings it all down to the movie's pacing. So that's why it's edited in this way, but it doesn't always work, because now it's going too fast. You just feel that there's kind of some scenes missing in terms of continuity, because it feels like they've skimped out on some of the transformation scenes, because in one shot he's a robot and then in the next shot he's a car. So that happens quite often in the movie. And then maybe in one shot they're in this location, in the next shot they're over there, and you just feel that, what about the events in between those two parts? You feel like something is missing and they edited something out. I don't know what it is. I also find that to get the story moving along, they use a little bit too much of that blackout effect. It goes black all of a sudden, and then it reappears, and then something else is happening, and then they do it again, and then they just keep on using that technique, and then it's just a bit overused. It gets a little bit annoying, but I know why they did it, but I think they could have done it a little better. Now I want to talk about the direction in this movie. Well, Michael Bay, he's Michael Bay. I don't think he's gonna change the way he directs movies and the way his movies look. There's a lot of these panning shots. The camera never really stays still, unless it's really for like close-ups. But I'm kind of happy that he decided to hold back with his aggressive shooting style. You get longer takes and wider shots. There is a little bit of that shaky cam, but it's not a lot of it. He makes movies that are fast-paced. It's not about big drama. It's not about amazing dialogue. It's about action. He makes a mundane scene look like it's an action sequence. Even human scenes of dialogue look like an action sequence, just because of the way the camera's moving, just because of the way it's edited. That's the first thing you notice. I mean, especially if you watch Armageddon, you feel like this 2.5 hour long movie just feels like a 2.5 hour long music video. I find that he hasn't really evolved as a filmmaker, but the only thing that has really evolved is the action. When they make these movies, they just feel, how can we make it bigger? There's a lot of similarities to the second one, but it is a lot better than the second one, but there's still a lot of similarities, even in terms of the way the movie is structured. But in the end, I know that it actually does help the movie move along faster and at a quicker pace. And they really put a lot of work into making that scene, and I gotta say, hats off to Michael Bay for giving us his brand of action and outdoing himself once again.